Good morning to one and all. I am Veera and a very warm welcome to all our viewers for another lovely sessions with Kittens webinar. Hope everyone is doing great, safe and fine in these difficult times. Kittens is an early education platform. Like you all know, it connects preschools and daycares with parents looking for the right early education. We are also trying to build a community here together to help parents and educators with the knowledge of our expert speakers. And today we have with us Miss Grishma Mumaya to share her knowledge on development of language skills in a child. Grishma Mumaya is a multi award education leader and a parenting expert who has successfully completed her school leadership course from Harvard University. She is the head of Trio Tots, India's Star Icon awardee. She is also won a Global Goodwill Ambassador of India. She's been for parenting education expert at First Cry, educational ambassador at 100 Finland and UK, awarded as the International Women Achiever Award for 2021. And her list just goes on. So we are very happy to have our speaker today. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Veera. So I would like to thank Kittens to give me this opportunity to speak on the development of language skill, because I believe as educators, it is so important for all of us to understand the progression of language development, because language development is actually connected to so many other developments. So as she introduced, my name is Grishma Mumaya. And yes, today I will be speaking on development of language skill. So let us start with this webinar. And before going ahead, let us first understand the progression of language development in children. So language development in children is divided into 3 periods. The first one is pre-lingual period. The second one is early lingual period. And the third one is differentiation period. Let us look at each period separately. So the first one is pre-lingual period, and this is between 0 to 1 year. Now, in this period, obviously the child cannot pronounce the spoken language, but has a language of its own, such as babbling. They use the words like baba, mama, but these words that they babble are actually a reaction to a particular situation or a particular person, because it's a symbol of the beginning of mental process maturity, and this generally happens once the child is 9 or 10 months old. So that is pre-lingual period. The second one is early lingual period, and this is between 1 to 3 years. Now, in this period, the child begins to speak their first words. Though they are not complete, but they start speaking, they attempt to speak words. But you might come across some children who find it difficult to pronounce certain sounds in this period between 1 to 3 years. Sounds like r, s, k, j, t. They find it little difficult to pronounce these words. But don't worry, it's completely normal for children to not be able to pronounce these sounds. So you don't have to worry, they will slowly overcome it. Now, early lingual period is actually further divided into sub-periods. The first period under early lingual period is one-word sentence period. Of course, as per the grammar rules, one word is not a sentence, but experts of language development, they actually believe that the first words spoken by a child can mean more than just a word. It is actually an expression of complex ideas. For example, when the child is saying mama, it could also be mama, I'm hungry, mama, come here, or mama, I need help. Okay. So a parent, a mother will definitely understand, what the child wants. But through this one word, mama, the child is actually expressing their needs. So this is called one word sentence period. Now, the second period that comes under early lingual period is two words sentence period. Now, generally, the two-word sentence period appears when the child begins to understand a theme and tries to express it. This happens about at the age of 18 months, where the child is now determining the combination of two words and also trying to understand that these two words have some relationship between them. For example, blue crayon, mama's dress. So these they try to get two things together and they connect a relationship. So that is two words sentence period. And the third sub period under early lingual period is more than two-word sentence period. Now, sentences in this period will start taking a particular form or a structure. Now, the child's skill to build a sentence or to form a sentence is now increased, because now in this period you will see the child has started forming sentences using three words, using four words, and so on. And also now in this period, the language the child uses is no more egocentric, because now the child is using communication language to communicate with others. They start actually building relationship between themselves and the others. And the last period is differentiation period, that is between 3 to 6 years. Now, in this period, the child's skills to organize the differentiation of words and sentences are more appropriate. But even in this period, they might find it difficult to pronounce pluralistic or complex consonants. But the vocabulary begins to grow in this period, and now the child is using language for communication function. They want to express their needs, they want to express their wants, they want to express their thoughts. You will also observe children start asking a lot of questions between the age of 3 to 6 years. Yes, because their imagination is also growing at this period. Now just think that, what if the child does not have a proper language development? The child will not be able to express themselves or ask questions. So that's why educators and researchers believe that language development is extremely important. Now, we've covered the language, the progression of language development. Now let us look at how any human being will learn any language, be it your international language like English, Spanish, German, or even Indian languages like Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Malayalam, Kannada, any language. How does a human being learn the language? So it is a cycle that is called LSRW. Now L stands for listening, S stands for speaking, R stands for reading, and W stands for writing. So first we listen to the language, then we speak the language, then we start reading the language, and then we start writing the language. So you might have observed that in US and UK and many European countries, they start writing only at the age of 6 years. So between 3 to 6 years, when the child starts going to school, they focus only on reading, because that's the learning cycle. But in India, the Indian education system, we also we start writing a bit early. So in India, reading and writing almost goes hand in hand. Now, let us look at when should parents start focusing on language development of their child. This is one of the most common questions that parents ask me. So language development, according to me, starts from the time the child is in the womb, and it is, of course, the most crucial part of child's overall development. So now learning the mother tongue is the first and most important stage in the language development. Again, here many parents ask me questions: should we teach them mother tongue, or should we teach them English first? So let us look at why we should teach, mother tongue. Because first, the child needs to learn the mother tongue, because any Indian language will help us build or develop our pronunciations, because we have so many vowels in Hindi or in Marathi or any Indian language. There are many vowels, so they actually help us build our pronunciation. And secondly, when the child knows a mother tongue, the child is able to communicate in a better way with their grandparents, with their extended family. So also a sense of belongingness, develops. Also, the child develops social skill. So that's why it is extremely important that a child first learns the mother tongue. Now, so for the first 12 months, parents need to communicate with their child in their mother tongue, because the child is listening to the language spoken around and trying to fill their own word bank. So as parents, it is important to deposit more and more words in your child's word bank, so that when the child starts speaking, they can use these words that you have deposited in them. Yes. Now they start speaking the language spoken around them from, say, about 18 months to 24 months. And here the child is actually trying to speak in broken words and broken languages, but eventually they get thorough with their mother tongue, for sure, because they use their mother tongue so much in their house. So once they're thorough with their mother tongue by the age of 2.5 years, 2.5 years, that's when one parent can start communicating with the child in English. Now, what happens here is the child is now comparing the two languages. Yes, the child already has a well-developed vocabulary in their mother tongue. And now when the one parent starts talking in English, now the child is building on the English vocabulary. So by the age of 3, your child has almost acquired 2 languages easily without much effort. And that's when they also start going to school. So they need to know English language also. So this will actually further help them in reading as well. So the next question that generally parents ask me is, is there anything as parents we can do to encourage speech and language development in my child? So let's get first clear with first thing first. Your television or your YouTube videos should not be your child's language teacher. Yes, because conversing with people will help your child find new words. Yes, but not the TV, please. I'll give you an example of this child I met. The child was speaking mostly mother tongue and very limited English. But whatever he spoke, whether mother tongue or English, the child had a US accent, okay? And I was wondering, I wanted to check with the parents. So I started asking parents if the child has been to US, or is child, playing with friends or cousin who has US accent. And after, asking questions, we came to know that the child has never been to US or does not have any cousin or friend who speaks, with US accent. And what we also came to know that the child comes from non-English speaking background. So then further, when we started asking questions, we came to know that it is because the child is constantly watching videos which has US accent in it. And that's where the child has picked up the accent. Now, it's okay if the child is picking up US accent, but what has happened is now the child knows very limited English because he uses only words that are being used in that program. Yes. So it becomes very, very limited. And also, he's not able to communicate properly, with the parents when he speaks in English, or with teacher when he speaks English. So let you be the language teacher for your child and not the TV. Yes, so that is the first important thing that you need to do. Second is narrate to your child what you're doing, whether you are cooking, whether you are cleaning, talk about your actions. For example, now I am removing the vegetables from the fridge. I will now wash the vegetables with water and then I'll chop the vegetables with knife. So you narrate what you are doing with your child, because this will help your child learn which words mean what actions. The child will connect the actions to the words. The third point is um, reading aloud with your child. I believe, and I always tell the parents that I come across, that reading aloud with the child is the most precious gift you can give to your child. Just reading aloud with your child 5 to 10 minutes a day will not only instill love for reading or love for learning, but it will actually expand their imagination. It will expand their vocabulary, and it will also help children match words to the colorful pages in the book, and that helps them strengthen their understanding. Please, I would request parents to start reading aloud book, reading aloud with your child. You can even do it as early as 3 months, when the baby is 3 months old, and you can continue until your child is able to read independently. So please do that, because you don't know how many words you will introduce your child to when you are reading with them. Because if you realize, as the language that we any language that we use while speaking or conversing is very different than what is written in the books. Yes, so it's important for children to read that language also, to hear that language also. And you can even opt for books that are in your mother tongue first, and then gradually start with English books. Yes. Next is use your hand gestures when you're speaking with your child. If you are an expressive person and you already talk with your hands, this would be easy for you. But while teaching your child a song, clap your hands or wave goodbye to them when you leave, because again, the child is connecting the words to the gestures, and this will help them understand the words and the meaning also. And the last thing you can do is sing to your baby, because when there's a rhythm and when words rhyme, it's much easier for children to learn words. And that's the reason we have so many nursery rhymes. And also, you can encourage children to sing along with you. You can actually, I would suggest you to first, go and check with your grandparents the songs that they were using, to sing when you were small. Because our Indian languages also have some amazing songs and tongue twisters that children can start, listening to first, and then come to English nursery rhymes. Use a lot of tongue twisters. Even tongue twisters are good for language development. And the last tip I would like to give you here is, I often come across many parents where they feel that the children of the other children of my child's age have started speaking and my child is not speaking. So what they do is, when anyone is asking child anything, they will respond on behalf of the child. Okay, if you're asking how are you doing, oh, he's doing fine, she's doing fine, right? So they start responding. They do not give chance to children to speak, or to even attempt to speak, or to just respond through their expressions. Don't do that. Allow your child to speak. Give that this always, when you ask a question to any child, there's something called wait time. Now that wait time, after you have asked question, whether in your classroom to any child, to student, or to your child, you have to wait for at least 5 to 6 seconds for the child to listen, to interpret, and then respond to your question. Okay, and do not ask two, 3 questions in one go. They don't know, they would not respond to you. Yes, so that's why many parents complain that I ask him so many times, so many questions, but he never responds. You have to ask one question at a time, wait, give some time, pause after asking question for 4 5 seconds, and then you will see that the child is responding to your question. Yes. Now, um, next is, how do you identify if there is a language delay? So your child is actually able to communicate with you long before he or she actually starts speaking a word. A baby's cry or the smile and the way they respond to you actually help you understand his or her needs. That's the way baby communicate with us in the first 2 years, right? Now, please understand that every child will develop or achieve milestones at their own pace. Yes, but there are certain things that children are able to do, at a certain age. So I will be sharing some language developmental milestones with you, but please keep in mind that these are just certain, guidelines. They're very general guidelines. If you further have any questions, you can always get in touch with me. Yes. So let us look at the milestones of language development. So by 1 year, the first year, most of the babies will look for or be able to find where the sound is coming from. They will start responding to their own name when you call it. They can start saying goodbye. They will look, where you are pointing. Because when you say look at the fan, when you are pointing it out at fan, they will be able to look at the fan. They'll actually start taking turns while talking to you. Not actually talking, but if you listen and pay attention to you, and when you speak and then when you stop, they will start babbling. So that's how they understand the two-way communication. And between the 1 year and 2 year, let us understand the milestones of between 1 to 2 years. Most toddlers will start following simple commands. They can actually get one object from one room to other room when you ask them to do. They can point out few body parts when asked. They can point out to interesting objects for you to look at them, and they start bringing things to you to show it to you. And by 2 years of age, most toddlers will point out to many body parts and common objects. They point out to some pictures in the books. They'll follow one step command. You'll be amazed that they'll be able to actually say about 50 to 100 words. And, even if it is in your mother tongue, that's fine. And they can actually start saying 2 words, phrases like mama come, daddy go, my doll, my book, 2 words. So that is the general milestone of children between 0 to 2.5 years. Now, what can parents do when you notice that there is a sign of language delay? Now, delay in languages are the most common types of developmental delay. 1 out of 5 children will learn to talk or use words later than the other children of their age. Some children will also show some behavioral problems because they are so frustrated when they can't express what they need or what they want. So simple speech delays are sometimes temporary, and they will overcome on their own, or sometimes with little extra help from the family. So it is important for you as a parent to read a lot of books with your children, to start talking with gestures, to start playing with them, so that they overcome these simple speech delays. But in some cases, children might need a little more help from a speech therapist or a language therapist to learn to communicate. Because sometimes these delays may be a warning of more serious problem that could include hearing loss or developmental delays in other areas, or sensory processing disorder also. Language delays in early childhood also could be a sign of a learning problem that may not be diagnosed until the school years. So it's important that once you realize that there is a delay in many things, to get your child evaluated to check with your doctor. But don't rush up, don't stress out, and don't force your child to do activities, to do things when they're not in a mood of doing it. Don't get worried and get your immediately go to language therapist or speech therapist. Observe certain things in your children, note it down, and then speak to the doctor, pediatrician first, and then approach a speech therapist or a language therapist. Yes, so don't worry. Language delay is something that can be definitely worked on, and that is something that sometimes, as I said, the simple, temporary speech delays can be worked at home itself. But make sure that you are spending a lot of time with your child, reading books, playing time, talking to them, and allow them to talk, allow them to express themselves. That's important. Yes. So here we come to the end of this webinar, and you can get in touch with me through Facebook. I am on Facebook. My profile is Greshma Momaya. I also have a Facebook page called Empower with Greshma. I have an Instagram account called Empower with Greshma. I am also on LinkedIn, so you can get in touch with me if you're looking at counseling for parenting counseling or student counseling, or if you're looking at conducting workshops in your companies or in your schools. You can always get in touch with me. I once again would like to thank Kidens for giving me this opportunity on speaking on such a wonderful topic. I hope it was useful to all the viewers of Kidens. And yes, please do get in touch with me in case of any questions or queries. Over to you, Veera.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was such a wonderful session to have you. And I would like to thank you on behalf of the entire administration, and the viewers who were captivated by talking. It was such a wonderful session on how you explain the progression of language which happens in child, and the stages of learning a language, and how we as parents and educators basically help a child, and what mistakes we make when we tend to ignore a lot of minute things which are of so
Yeah.
much valuable in a child's language learning. It was really wonderful to have you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and a
Thank
weekend
you.
ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Wish you and everyone the same. Thank you, ma'am.